NVDA right now, we broke downtrend. Okay, so this is our downtrend. We broke that area, and I'm looking for a retest of that spot 145, 146, and then I can pick some up, add to my position for a long term. So keep an eye out on that name. I think good morning, good afternoon, good evening, guys. So this is welcome to the Trading Success Show. If this is your first time, you're welcome to this channel. Now, what we're gonna be dealing with today, we're gonna be dealing with our long-term stocks, and we're also gonna be dealing with stocks that I think can stand the test of time, even with the market going down and pushing lower in terms of technicals and in terms of inflation and recession and all those stuff, right? But you need to be able to hold that portfolio in a way where you can really profit off of any move that comes your way, right? But right now I got a few stocks that I will be focusing on this coming week, and I will be watching it closely. Even with the Thanksgiving in front of us, we also need to trade accordingly. Okay, this was pretty much the Friday close. See how we closed pretty much green across a sector, right? But the energy industry actually took a very huge hit today, being Friday, and I'm thinking other sectors are also doing good, right? But with Google, Amazon, and Microsoft, these actually took a deep dive down. Okay, and the market did play some crazy move today, right? You always look at that last 10 minutes move before the market closed, how the market always, in most terms, always push to the upside. But however, this is not a recommendation to buy or to sell any equity or any stock in whatsoever. This is for entertainment purposes only. We got that out of the way. Today we're going to be talking about Intel, we're going to be talking about ROG, as well as NVIDIA, right? And we're going to be talking about the market. Okay, now we're looking at the market, which is our SPY. SPY is Spider S&P 500 ETF, right? And now in terms of the market, right, we have come a long way in knowing that our resistance is right on this trend, with our immediate resistance around this green trend line. This green trend line is our moving average, which is our simple moving average. In terms of that, okay, our simple moving average is much more slower compared to our exponential moving average, which is much more faster, right? But right now I got this trend and also this moving average. We got close to the moving average only to reject that area back down to the 390 level and bouncing right off that level on Friday. Okay, so right now I'm looking at price really pushing through the 400. If we can push through that 400, right, that is where I'm looking at. If we can push through 400, then we can revisit this level of 403, 405. 405 is going to act as our natural resistance overall. If we can break through, then our 610, our 410 is going to be in the cards. But overall, 390 break to the downside, we're going to be looking for 383, 380 in terms of SPY. But let the trend define what is going to happen, because we still haven't tested this side of the trend yet. We did it right here and we tried it here. Right now I'm looking for the same thing, an overall play on the market. Also looking at QQQ, the same thing with QQQ. QQQ actually did test levels, did test this level, and only to reject back down because market pulling back and to bounce right off the 50 exponential moving average, right? So I'm expecting more to the upside if this 280 area holds as a support on QQQ. All right, so that is for the market as a whole. Looking at AAL. AAL is American Airlines. What am I talking about? I'm talking about American Airlines really did push into resistance zone, and the resistance zone is right here, which is what, our 200 moving average, which is invariably $15, only to reject that area back down into the 14, 18, 85 zone, and this is going to act as our support for now. Reason is because we have our moving averages around that area, so that will act as a support for another bounce to the upside, which also coincide with what, this our trend line. So keep an eye out on AAL. Next one is going to be AAPL. This is Apple. Apple is pretty much holding the market strong, and we really need the market to really hold strong in terms of our long-term play, in terms of our long-term portfolio, right? So right now we are looking at a break of this downtrend to retest the 155 area, which is 154, 155 area is going to be our next resistance on Apple. So if this 150 hold as a support, I'll be expecting more to the upside on Apple. Next stock is going to be BKE. BKE is Buckle Incorporation or Incorporated, and right now $42 is going to act as a resistance. $42 did come, and only to reject it around the $43 spot, right? So look for this area as a form of a battle. So I'll be expecting a battle around this $42 area, and then push back then to retest $40. If we hold above $42 for 2 days, I think we'll continue to push on BKE. Also Boeing. What do we have with Boeing? We got this trend right now. That's what I'm looking at. Boeing right now, it has strength as of the Friday close, and we're looking at pushing back to 180, which is a resistance level. If we retest this area again, I think we can shoot back up to 190, but overall our resistance is that 180 if $175 zone breaks. So keep an eye out on Boeing as well. Alibaba. Right now for Alibaba, I have these 3 levels that I charted last week, and we got to the $85 spot, only to reject it because of the resistance looking back, right? And right now we're looking at price at these levels, 85, 80, and $75 as a support. That is what we're looking at. So keep an eye out on this area. This candle was a very huge, big candle, but right now we have what they call the inside day. So keep an eye out for this coming week. Palantir as well. Palantir pretty much PLT arrow. Right now we have our support right around $7. So I did pick some up in anticipation of a move back into around that $8 again. Resistance, immediate resistance is $8.50 on that name. So keep an eye out. I think this will really still do good because of all the contract they've been signing, right? Non-stop. Right now we got Tesla. Tesla right now 175 area held, but the price really got close to 176, and all of a sudden we bounced right off and closed about 4 points higher than that level. So I'll be looking for price to continuously hold this level. If 176 doesn't hold as a support, then we're going to be looking for 170 to come on Tesla. But for now, 180, we close 180, expect a support around that 180 for the continuous bounce to the upside. We're really extended to the downside on Tesla, so keep an eye out on that as well. Shopify, SHOP, we're looking at a 200 moving average as our next target. If $34-$35 hold as a support, as we're about to pull back down or continuously pull back down, so look for that level as to support. Block, aka Square, right now this level is acting as, or was acting as a resistance, and we broke right through it only to pull back now to retest it. Like I said some few times back, I was like, you know, if every time we get to a trend resistance level, the stock, one day the stock is gonna break right through it, and once we break right through that level, guess what is gonna happen? The stock will pull back, retest that level, then continue to pull to the upside. But if market makers, they want to really do bad, they want to really shake a lot of long hands out, they're gonna pull the stock just below that, which is the support, the resistance now support, and then they will just boom to the upside. Well, guess what? A lot of people are gonna get out of this area, and then stock will continue to move to the right direction. So keep an eye out on this as well. I'll be looking for 65 as a support in anticipation of the move back up above $70. But for now, 65 is our support. If 65 doesn't hold on square, I'll be expecting price into the $60 zone. So keep a close eye on this name. I want more to the upside, at least, you know, for a short term. PayPal, PYPL, right now we're looking at this trend break, exponential moving average here, and this area is going to act as a support. But remember, we also have price closing right below that 85.07 area. So, you know, we need for it to reclaim that 85, $86 again, then we should be all right to retest our $91. That is going to be a bone of contention. That's going to act as a solid resistance area. You see, we've tried it before, and all of a sudden we pull back only to regain support here. If this area doesn't hold, guys, I'm looking at $80 in the coming weeks. So keep an eye out on that. Meta as well, META. Meta did pull all the way lower and then bounce back, crosses $100 zone, only to fill the gap. The gap is pretty much filled. I don't know what you're talking about, but guess what? The gap is filled right into that 120. Okay, and what we need next is a retest of the 20 exponential moving average. That's what's happening right now, and then price can bounce right off of 110. Okay, if it gets to that level. But for now, this is going to act as a support for the continuation to the upside on Meta. This is going to be like a long-term play for me. Amazon is another one to keep an eye out on. We did gap down only to try to fill the level, but you know, couldn't push anymore. Okay, we got rejected around the 20 exponential moving average back down. So I did pick some up earlier this Friday at the $94 zone in anticipation for the move to the upside, or for the long-term hold on that name. Looking at Coinbase as well, COIN is back to support. Okay, so this is support right now. We're really in that support phase. $45 is going to act as our support, and for the bounce to the upside. So keep an eye out on that name. If for any reason we pull back, we're gonna shake out the weak hands, just like we did a while back. ABVI as well. ABVI, we're looking to break 155, so keep an eye out on that 155 area for the move to the upside. If that area rejects again, we'll be looking at price back to 150 on ABVI. UHAL, actually they did a forward split 9-1, so they did a forward split, and for me, I'll be looking for price back to $50 before I can pick some up for a long-term hold. Okay, INTC as well. INTC, we are in the resistance zone, which is $30. If we break again, then we can look to push to the upside on INTC, which is our Intel. Right now we have this trend as our support. This is our trend support right now, so we can break that level, then we should be okay to push to the upside on Intel. CVNA, CVNA is another name to watch, as $8 is going to act as our support. $8 area, once you support that side, I think we can continue to push to the upside. But for now, if that $8 doesn't hold, we'll be looking at $6. A really cool beating on that name. FDX as well. FDX, we got this gap. All of a sudden, boom, we got to 180. I sold some of my long-term position in anticipation of the pullback. We did pull back. Right now we're pulling, we're pushing higher again. But if that price, or if it stock still revisit, I need a retest of this breakout. I need a retest of this 161, 160 area so that I can pick some up in terms of long-term holdings. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. I need a very solid retest of this trend break. So on a Chinese terms, KWEB, okay, let's see, yeah, right there, KWEB, this one right now, $28.30 is gonna act as our resistance right now. $25, we're fighting that area with support right around the $24, so keep an eye out on that as well. NVDA right now, we broke downtrend. Okay, so this is our downtrend. We broke that area, and I'm looking for a retest of that spot, 145, 146, and then I can pick some up, add to my position for a long term. So keep an eye out on that name. I think that is going to look really, really cool. ROG as well. Okay, ROG, the reason is because they got what have you, they got a buyout news that really came out, and DuPont actually scrapped out the buyout news. They actually, so now they have to pay for not going through with the buyout. Okay, so I think this company is also going to be open for a buyout in the long term. So keep an eye out on ROG, because this is going to come in at some point. $100 is going to act as our support for now on that name, guys. The remaining stocks like OSK, OSTK, GM, CRM, all these, I'm gonna post them up on my Twitter and on my stock tweet account. Thank you guys for being here. I hope you enjoy the fantastic weekend, and pretty much happy holidays in advance, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone who is celebrating out there in this world. Thank you very much. Peace and love, guys. Bye bye.